Bloodwolf Arts Studio. Unleash the artist within. Welcome to Bloodwolf Arts Studio, and I am your host, Mr. Moonlight. So today, I have a guest.
Hi.
Hi. And so she's here to talk about her book that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a reading on later. And so tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. My name is Keri Measom, and I grew up in Utah. I'm a retired elementary school teacher. I taught children's literature, and I love to write. I'm a writer, and just retired from 30 years in the Utah education public school systems, and poured my heart and soul into this book. So I'm really excited to share it. So thanks for having me.
That's so cool. So what is your book called that you wanted to share?
My book is called If I Were a Tree.
Okay. You got a tree right here.
Yes, I love it. I love trees. Trees are just so inspiring and magical, and that is where my inspiration came.
That's so cool. What is your book about?
So last May, I was riding a bike through the forest of Finland. I mean, dreamy, right? And I was with some students on a study abroad, and every little bit we'd stop, and I would ask them, what word are you thinking of? What word comes to mind when you're looking at this beautiful place? And they would tell me a word, and I would write it down, and then I wrote a poem about it because I'm a writer, and you get that.
Of course.
Anyway, we stopped in front of this tree, and it had like bumps and bruises and twists and turns and knobs and scars, and it was the most beautiful tree I've ever seen. And I was overcome with emotion, and my soul was like, if I were a tree, that is what I would be. Like, if my life could be reflected in the shape or form of a tree,
right,
what would it look like? And it inspired like lots and lots of thoughts, and I wanted to bring it back to my students and do a writing project with it, and have them sketch their tree, their life in the form of a tree.
Wow, that's very beautiful. Actually, it's very,
right.
And I can imagine the kind of conversations that followed, and maybe how your students started to actually ponder and consider that. Wow, like, it's not even just like what would your tree be like, but like them feeling connected, like the trees.
Yeah.
Because like, what if you were a tree?
Yeah.
And what would it, and connecting to how people are not different. Like, we're not different from the trees. I mean, we're growing up, and everybody looks different, and maybe don't always learn exactly how we think we might.
Exactly.
And your writing assignment or suggestion.
Yeah. So I didn't end up going back into the classroom. I ended up retiring, and then I poured my heart and soul into the book.
That's so cool.
And one thing that as I wrote it, I toyed, do I want it in poetry form, or do I want it rhyming, but I really wanted it attractive to all ages, and so it is in a rhyming format. And then the pictures, I actually have taken photos of trees all over the world. I just have loved them. So at the back of the book, I actually have the actual photo, and then it says like where it was taken. Okay, so the cover was actually taken in Versailles, France. And this is from Sedona. This one's from Lake Shasta. This is from Salt Lake City. So I have trees from all over the world.
Whoa.
And that was really meaningful for me. And then I used AI to just digitally enhance each page. So I love the illustrations. They're super meaningful to me. And I thought so much about it. Like, think about when a seed is planted.
Yeah.
Okay, when I plant a seed, like, I know that seed's gonna grow. And like, maybe the higher power, it's kind of like when we come to earth, like, we know we're here for learning, and we're in the total darkness. A seed is in complete dark, black, dark, wet, cold.
Absolutely.
But they somehow know to go to the light.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you look at trees, even when there's been twists and turns, they always, and that really resonated with me in my life.
That's so cool. I love I guess you answered some of my other questions, because I was going to ask you what inspired your book. So thank you so much for sharing. And so another question is, Have you written books before, and do you have any other books, or is this what you have right now, and do you have any plans?
Oh, thank you for asking. I do have a book. It was published in 2019, and it is called Christmas Underwear. It is a children's book, and it's a story about me.
Okay.
But it's a great story that teaches gratitude, and so that was published in 2019. It's available on Amazon.
Okay.
And then this is my second book. I have so many ideas. Oh my gosh. I'm a writer. I love to write. I actually have a third published. It is more of a journal type book, but it's called A Creator's Notebook.
Okay.
And I've kept a creator's notebook for over 10 years. And it's not a journal in the sense that you just like write about your day, but it's more a tool for being in the present. So it's like creating the now through writing.
Okay.
And that is actually published. It's available on Amazon as well. So
Okay.
I have those three, and I have lots and lots of manuscripts going on that I'm going to move forward with.
All right, that's cool. And so I guess you answered one of my other questions, which was where can people find your book? You said you can find your book on Amazon.
Yep.
And so the last question before I let you go is, so where can people find you, and where can people find your content?
Awesome. Thank you for that question. I am on TikTok. I'm Kerri Measom 197, I believe. Let me just make sure. Kerri Measom Creations is my business.
Okay.
And Kerri Measom 18 at Gmail. And TikTok, Kerri Measom 197. And I'm also on Instagram as Kerri Measom, Measom. Well, my whole name is Kerimeasom.
Okay. I'm also going to be doing a reading of her book on my TikTok channel, and you can find that content on Tuesday. So it'll be up tomorrow. So you can find that. And you said you wanted to also...
I'll just share the back of the book. It just says, and this is something that I will kind of entice you to listen. And what if you were a tree? Would your branches dance in the wind? Would your leaves sparkle like treasure in the sun? If I were a tree, invite you to imagine, dream, and see just how strong, magical, and unique you can be. And that's the question I like to ask. You know, if you were a tree, what would you be? What would you be?
I'd probably be a very tall oak tree.
Yeah, I can see you being very tall. Would it just be tall and straight?
Oh no, I'd probably have a couple branches missing. I'd probably be growing through another tree.
Yeah.
I'd be like getting into other people's stuff.
Yeah. Well, and you know, my roots of my tree are so interconnected because all the people that have supported me, I'm so grateful for that.
All right, well, thank you again for sharing.
Thanks.
All right, that's so cool. So thank you so much for
You're
sharing
welcome.
your book.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us here at Blood Wolf Art Studio. You can find my content on YouTube, Blood Wolf Arts Studio, and you can also find me on TikTok as Mr. Moonlight. And thank you for being with us.